Hello, welcome to another Henstitute help session. This one is problem number 8. Now, problem number 6 is very similar to it, and I talked about that one in class. I thought I would just jump to 8 and kind of look at this one just as a reminder. So the idea is you have this marble. It's being thrown with a speed of 15 meters per second horizontally. So I went ahead and labeled it up here as Vx being 15 meters per second. And the idea is we're going to try to figure out from what height it was thrown. So we're trying to figure out how far it is from here down to the ground. I would argue that the height is really the same as y. It just happens to be we're just going to drop the negative. So it fell so many meters, so that would be a negative value. Your height would just be a positive version of that. The key thing that's weird about this is they give you an angle down here that it hits the ground at 65 degrees below the horizontal. So if you remember, we did this before. I actually made this negative 65. And what I have on the board is that the tangent, or the angle, is equal to the inverse tangent of your horizontal velocity, or your vertical velocity, sorry, over your horizontal velocity. So it's the final vertical velocity over the final horizontal velocity. And where that's coming from is the fact that when this actually strikes the ground, it's made up of two velocities. It still is moving forward with a VFX, but this is still 15 meters per second. But now it's moving downward with some velocity. And the only reason I'm drawing this kind of into the ground is I'm trying to indicate, like, right at this point, that's how fast it's moving. So I kind of drew it. Some people would just draw it like right above, and that'd be fine. I'm just kind of drawing it into the ground, but that's kind of the idea. So we're going to use this to actually figure out what VFY is, because if I take the tangent of both sides and say that the tangent of the angle would equal my VFY over the VFX, or just VX is probably fine. I'm just going to leave the F on there. Then I can just multiply this over to the other side, and I have VFY. And the cool part is I can find out why, because I know that initially this marble had no vertical velocity. I now know what its final vertical velocity is, and I'm trying to find y. So the equation I would end up using would be the fact that VFY squared equals your VIY squared minus 2GY. And then you just solve for y. So that's a little bit of help on this problem. The same setup in number 6, except that the velocities are different and the angles are different. But anytime you have an angle and below the horizontal, you should be able to kind of put that in. And I would make sure I actually use a negative 65 degrees because it's below. That'll give you a negative value for VFY. And it's just kind of good to remember that that's actually what you're doing. Hope this helps. Enjoy.